The boy hid in the last row of the classroom every day in order to save money to dabble in class. But today it was the irascible principal who took over the class. He buried his head very low and prayed that the principal would not see him, but the next moment the principal loudly reprimanded the boy, stood up and disgustedly told the boy to get out of the room. The boy mumbled and repeated in the most humble tone of voice to pray for the principal not to expel him, and said that his family has money, will immediately pay the tuition fees. He wants to learn, only knowledge can change the poor. But still was mercilessly driven out of the back of his stubborn head, did not look back. At this time, the principal did not know that this thirsty boy, 3 months later, he was admired by him. The boy, Kaza, went home and asked his father for money for school. But the land was dry and there was no harvest. And even food was a problem. Not to mention school fees. Kaza had no choice but to find his own way. So he was about to take down his old bicycle light to get some money when he discovered that by turning the wheel, the magnetic generator on the side of the roadless wheel would make the light come on gradually as the wheel spun. And when the wheel stopped, the light would go out. This discovery delighted Kaza, who had always thought that only batteries could provide electricity. So his crops were saved. So Kaza sneaked into the school library and found a book on the use of energy. And a light of hope came into his eyes. But before he knew it, there were thieves in the house. The neighbors, who hadn't eaten in 10 days, robbed his mother of her grain. And what was left of the storehouse was ransacked by the hungry villagers. Mother cried bitterly. This is the family's last ration. She could only take out all the money to let Kaza go to the market to buy some food, but the owner of the grain store from 24 yuan directly increased the price to 105. But even so, the line for food was endless. There were too many wolves and not enough meat to go around. So when it came to his turn, the clever Kaza observed the terrain and crept around the line to the back door of the warehouse, where he hid his bicycle. First he hid his bicycle. Then he took advantage of his small size to blend in with the crowd of buyers. And at the last moment before closing time he squeezed right into the granary. And finally Kaza bought half a sack of life-saving food. But at night, when his father counted the stock and the money he had left, he was still devastated. It was now the dry season, and the next planting would be at least 6 months away. Father said that from now on the whole family would only have one meal a day. But as soon as she heard that, her sister slammed the door and left. She didn't want to accept the reality of why it had come to this. But her mother came out after her and slapped her across the face. Now the whole family had to be united in order to survive the famine. And they both hugged each other and cried. But inside the house Kaza had a thought. In the house, however, Kaza had an idea. Late at night, he went to his sister's room and said that he could keep her from starving. But only if Kaza needed the generator from his sister's boyfriend's bicycle. After he left, the sister pondered for a long time, and the next day she left the house with her boyfriend, but left a gift for Kaza, the generator that had been given as a bride price. This heavy hope made Kaza swear to overcome the famine through the power of knowledge. So he went to his village friends and first softened an old water pipe over a fire and laid it out as a fan blade. Then he took the motor off the radio. Kaza assembled the generator and the fan according to the book and connected the positive and negative terminals of the radio. Then the boys opened the door and the wind blew in, and the fan started to spin. And as it got faster and faster, the radio started to make noise. Everyone cheered and danced for Kaza, and this little experiment gave Kaza more confidence that if he could build a bigger fan he could drive a pump to water the drought-stricken land. But when Kaza showed his father the results of his experiment, he was furious and smashed the generator.